everybody. Welcome to this episode of Think Business Live. Looking forward to talking with Kelly Siegel. Kelly, always great to see you. Looking forward to diving into this conversation with you. Kelly, you got a great company, NTM. You're the CEO, but I really want to spend time talking today about your book and your podcast, Harder Than Life. So we're gonna dive into that piece. I've been watching your videos and your book and all that type of stuff. So it's been really, really exciting to watch. As a business coach, I always like to kind of start off the podcast talking about, I think people learn through stories, where a recent stuck point is and how you recently got unstuck. And so when you look at your business, especially in today's world, where's a place that you were stuck and how did you get unstuck?
Ooh, as a business coach, you hit me right in the gut, right off the start. Currently, so one of the things that I never really knew about was how you feel physically and emotionally is paramount, and doing the quote unquote work on your mental capacity and emotional intelligence is so important. It's vital to having a successful business. It's not the other way around. And it took me years to figure that out. So I'm currently a little bit stuck with optimizing my health. I know that sounds weird because I work out like a crazy man, but I'm finding myself abnormally tired. So I am currently going through, and this is full vulnerability because I want everybody to understand that I'm always tinkering and trying to get better. So I was just on with a doctor before I logged on to this, and I'm trying to optimize my health because I want to run at about 150 miles an hour as opposed to the 100 miles an hour that I'm running right now. Yeah. I run on grit and coffee. Yeah. So I'm going to optimize my health even more to be able to serve my staff, my family, and all the loyal Harder Than Life supporters.
Yeah. It's interesting. One of the things I'm also a student of everything you're talking about. I have been for a long, long time. And one of the things I find is part of the workout, part of my workout is recalibration. And that within that recalibration and that to self-regulate is really kind of taking and honoring the time to pause and do nothing.
Yeah. As you talk with your friend Rob Dubay, his book To Do Nothing. Yes,
I love Rob. I love Rob. Yeah.
Look what I still use these every day.
Oh, yeah.
It's you gave me these years ago from the Buddhist monk. Yeah. And when I'm feeling out of alignment, I take it like you taught me. And I remember to feel and be in the present. Tomorrow's mystery, yesterday's history, and all we have is today. So I take time to be mindful and meditate. And I do all the mindful work as well. But your body gets used to that. So we take it to the next level, the next level, the next level. And one of the things that Rob is working on, and I'm a part of his mastermind now, that is working less to give your mind time to recharge, which to me is crazy talk. But we run so hard and heavy and make so many decisions that you have fatigue. And you need to give yourself time to recharge. So even with my habits and rituals and routines of journaling and meditating and taking care of my mind and my body and working all day, I still run out of gas. Yeah.
All right, good. Well, we'll keep us posted on that. We'll have you back on the show and do a catch up on that. I want to talk about your book a little bit, Kelly, and your podcast, Harder Than Life. I could kind of read part of what your introduction is, but why don't you maybe define a little bit, how you came up with the name and where, what that name Harder Than Life means to you.
Well, John, if you're doing the work and ascending every single day, you're not the person you were a month ago. When I wrote that book, I wrote it during the pandemic, which was 3 years ago. It's almost like I don't even know who that person is. And the next book is going to have to be called Easier Than Life, because the habits and rituals and routines that I've adapted, look at the smile on my face. I don't have stress. I don't have worries. I don't have concerns. I don't have fears because I trust myself emphatically, and I love myself, and it all starts with keeping the word, keeping your word to yourself and to everybody else. And you've known me for 30 years now. I was scary to say that. I mean what I say. And so harder than life at the time, it means just overcoming adversity. And no matter what life sends you, you have the wherewithal and the confidence and the grit and the desire to hit it straight on. And when I wrote it, it was meant to be something I was going to hand out to the NTM customers. They just tell them, hey, this is where I was, this is where I'm at now, and this is where we're headed. And it was a hit. It went Amazon bestseller in multiple categories for many weeks. And we're already working on book 2, and I already got book 3 in the works, but our focus is switched over to a fitness, health and wellness app that we're going to be launching here soon called Harder Than Life. And it's going to be all of these routines and rituals for everybody to have access to, with the 100% goal of donating 6 figures to charity, which will be in the app as well, showing that I'm not doing this to get a bigger house, a jet, anything else. This is servant leadership. I want to show people that if a poor young kid that grew up off of 8 Mile and with all the disadvantages, physically and emotionally abused by the parents, can overcome adversity, you can too.
Yeah.
It comes with a lot of stress. I mean, I take a lot of comments. Misery loves company, and it's just those people. I understand that they're hurting, and I kill them with kindness, and I answer every single person back, and they want to knock me down, and it just, me, that fuels me.
Yeah.
You want to stop me? Say nothing.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. You said you run off of grit and coffee, but what you're talking about is killing them with kindness. So how do you walk that line, right? The kindness and the grit, right? And because I think a lot of times people fall into reactionary mode, right? It's very, very difficult. We're humans. We have certain just instincts that cause us to react. It takes I think personal training, right, to respond and not react. And so in your kind of, your line of kindness to grit, where have you learned mostly to respond and not react?
Yeah. So during the pandemic, and in the book, this is in the book, my ex-wife and my ex-girlfriend got together and said some lies about me and got my parenting time of my dear daughter, who's my everything, taken away. And I hired an emotional coach, and she said, assume positive intent. And I didn't understand what that means. I said, these ladies are out to get me. They want me to, they were looking for my demise. And she said, just think about from their perspective, what they're getting. They're feeling better by trying to hurt you. Take the hurting out. So long story short, assume positive intent and don't take anything personal, and then do all those habits and rituals or routines daily so you can fill your own cup up every day. They say, on an airplane, put your mask on before you help anybody else's, because you're no good to anybody else if you're dead.
Yeah.
So I make sure, and I do my rituals and routines. I'm at the gym at 5 a.m. I'm gratitude before that. Gratitude walks, reading a chapter a day, meditating, all of the things that keep me recharged, and it allows me to absorb the pain of the universe and kill them with kindness, and realize there's not a single person in the world who's healed who's going to stomp on somebody else.
Yeah. How do you balance all that? I find I have a lot of routines, a lot of rituals. I wake up really early. I do a lot of different things, and this and the other. But at some point, and not at some point, but at some level, some people think just taking care of yourself is a full-time job, right? It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of thinking. It's a lot of planning. I mean, it really is something that you have to keep as a top priority. And so I see your videos at the gym and, all that type of stuff. And, but how do you keep the consistency? I think that is something that I hear from a lot of people that I coach specifically. That is the hardest part.
So I have right here, it's just a reminder behind me. Consistency is what transforms average into excellence.
Yeah.
But I'll give you behind the scenes. And I believe this was in the book. There is still that little boy in me that is scared that his mother and father are going to come home and beat him, and that where he's going to get his next meal from. And I know that as long as I do my consistency, I know where my next meal is going to come from, and I'm going to live. So there still is a little bit of survival in me. So that's innate, but it's more of the lines of just, it's ingrained in who I want to be and how I serve people. And the purpose, my purpose is much larger.
Yeah.
And, John, I've been shot at. I've had a gun to my head several times. I've been stabbed. I've been run over, and I'm still here. And there's a reason for it. So I've become a lot more spiritual and understanding that there's a reason. I'm put on this earth because I matter. And I was growing up, I was raised like I didn't matter, and that it was just an afterthought, and I was a pain in the butt, and I was there to be a slave to my alcoholic parents. And I realized they did the best that they could. And I didn't take it personal, which is hard to do. It's a lot of therapy. And it's still, there's moments in the day where I still immediately get transferred back to that little boy. But I know that your thoughts are magical lies, and that's your ego trying to keep you safe. And I talk to myself, and I use every modality known to man. And sometimes it's just going out for a walk in the beautiful sun and just getting your mind clear.
Yeah. I think one of the differentiators is we all have those moments, but the ones that can get back to center faster seem to be able to kind of keep the momentum.
Notice what I said, John. I don't use any substance, not cannabis, not Xanax, definitely not alcohol.
Yeah.
I sit in my feelings and I feel them and I process them. And the funny thing about it is the real intense ones go away really quickly. And then as you keep doing it, they don't appear. So when you mask and you crutch and you don't face them, they actually intensify.
Yeah.
So that's really what Harder Than Life is all about, is just sitting in those feelings. I'll give you for instance, this is live and you'll appreciate this because you've gone through it. I flew back from my Florida house and I got to see my daughter go to homecoming with a bunch of her friends.
Yeah.
And I look around, I'm like, man, I made some right decisions in that she's at this beautiful home with a bunch of her friends looking beautiful and getting to do. When I was 14 years old, I didn't get to do that. I had a full-time job. I played full-time sports and I went to school full-time. My parents were alcoholics. I was running from them and hiding from them.
Yeah.
Not my daughter. So when I left there, I was full of gratitude, and it was an unfamiliar feeling. And it felt like anxiety.
Yeah.
And most people would have had a drink or taken a Xanax or something. And I just sat in my feelings. I journaled. I meditated. Well, it took about 45 minutes and I got back and I realized, man, that was a good thing. It was just unfamiliar. So people like the familiar misery over the unfamiliar happiness. And that, how could I not be happy that I'm looking at people that I do business with, that I love, that invited my daughter and me to be for homecoming? She looked beautiful. She's brilliant and smart and knew right choices and just soaked up everything Dad had to say to her.
Yeah.
That's winning, man.
That
makes it all worth it.
Yeah. Did you know what that anxiety feeling was when you were 14 years old, or was it just living? Or did you know, or did you realize it was anxiety as you got older?
Well, for me, and I don't know if this is true for you, but anxiety and gratitude feel very similar because I wasn't grateful for anything growing up. It was fight or flight, man. It was survival. So that's the only emotion I knew, was scared to death or nervous as can be.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the same thing. So it was freaky. So I still have trouble processing those, but man, do I like looking back and being happy. I get to listen. This is the big thing. The cycle of abuse ended with me.
Yeah.
My daughter knows nothing but love and support and stability. And we were just laughing about it because this is terrible. We've had cleaning ladies her whole life, so she gets a little lazy, even though she has chores and does things. And I look at her bathroom. I said, "Honey, what are you doing? You better marry a really good man." But I just tease her. We have a laugh, and she's just a good kid. And
What about, coming out of, as we come out of COVID, and, life brings so many, hard things, has been bringing a lot of hard situations to people as of late. What's one thing that you can kind of guide them to, that you had to tap into when it was like that moment where you knew you needed to change, and what was, or wanted to change, and that very first step?
Ooh, this is a deep question, John. And you can hear my voice just dropped. Well, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Uh-huh.
And you knew me when I used to drink alcohol, and I didn't even realize I had a problem. And I really would argue that, I don't know, I was very functioning, but I didn't have any contrast to realize what was life like. What could life be like without having a crutch? And I'm going to say crutch. Some people are addicted to porn. Some people are addicted to alcohol. Some people are addicted to cannabis. It's or just escaping reality. And I got a news flash for you. Once you get far away from that, life gets really, really good. And I ask, how good can you handle life? And it just keeps getting better. I'm approaching 5 years of saying no to drinking. And notice I didn't say, it's sobriety. I don't like to label it. I just choose not to drink. Yeah. I choose not to numb. I choose to face the feelings. I'm a buffalo. I go right into the storm, and it enables us to get through it faster. So I just was sick and tired of this, of being on life's freaking merry-go-round and expecting something different. Yeah. So life is supposed to be a roller coaster. You got to have ups and downs. And the beauty part about being in a valley or down is, an up is coming right after it. Yeah. And you know what happens if you're flatline? You're dead. So get off that merry-go-round, because you're just going to throw up. Get on life's roller coaster and enjoy it. Yeah. So it all too often, it's like I said, that familiar misery. And we're just, as humans, we're just so, we always want to predict the future, even if it's negative. So if I have a drink, I know what my future is going to be. It's going to be the same thing I've always had. And for me, it was about love. I just kept attracting the wrong type of person. Yeah. And I just got sick and tired of it and realized, hey, I'm still single and I'm happy because I can supply everything I need internally. Yeah. That's another thing that comes from doing the work. You realize that you're a whole person, and you can emanate everything that you need, all the love and all the support and all of the energy and positivity that you could possibly need. And you've done that from the day I've ever met you. You've always been positive and happy and loving. Oh, well,
thank you. Tapping into that intrinsicness that is, that inner being and knowing. Let me ask you a question. You talk about, predicting predicting the future, but we're also talking about, being present. And so how in your journey are you able to be present, think about the future, but detach from the outcome?
Oh, man, you are hitting me hard. That literally is the number one. That's what I'm working on right now. Yeah. I got marry the process, divorce the outcome. And it's hard to do, but you have to believe in invisible progress daily. Yeah. And you set daily goals to win the day. And then you win the day over 365, you win the year. And then you win, you start all over and you win 2 years and 3 years. And it's no surprise that 5 years of sobriety, I've been winning massively. Now, life's going to send you little surprises to make sure that you're willing to do the work. And they come in the form of anything. It could be a death in the family. It could be a war. It could be a downturn in business, because it's not going to roll over and give you what you want. You have to earn it. There's no deserves. Everything is earned in this world. So when you come, and those are the ruts, and then when you power through those, you feel better. And so that is the age-old thing, and that comes with. I get most of that through meditation. Yeah, is slowing myself. Yeah, me too. Down. And then here's another trip. You can look backwards and see at the times that you did push really, really hard, or you did look in the future. Did it help? Didn't help at all. Yeah, it's the moments when you're really, really centered and you're focused on today. Yeah, and not pushing. Because in fact, anytime I ever pushed at something, I can look back now and realize that was putting a round peg in a square
Yeah.
hole and never lasted.
Yeah.
If you allow the universe to align and do the surrendering and allow things to happen, they'll last a lifetime.
Yeah, I agree. When you're in alignment, things flow. I mean, that since the day I launched this business 8.5 years ago, it's always been in flow. I just built a second coaching company called Launch 3, and it's really a platform for 18 to 26-year-olds. I have a business partner, David Chernow, and ever since we started it, it's in full flow. It's in full flow.
Is David local?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a Michael Chernow that I just met out of New York. I wonder if they're related.
I don't know. So, but you're right. So being in alignment is key. All right. Give us a 30-second commercial on NTM.
Well, NTM is in today's world. We just heard about the ransomware attack on MGM and American Express. We are the last line of defense in cybersecurity. It's why the logo is a shield, and cybersecurity is our standard. So we are solving business technology every single day through technology. It really is very, very simple, very, very easy. You sign up with us, you will not get ransomware, and you will be protected.
Love it. All right. Quick speed round. Recent book. I know you read a ton. Recent book that's had a big impact on you.
Ooh, I have been absolutely binge reading. I'm reading the companion book to the 4 Agreements. I didn't even know it existed.
Oh yeah, it's so good. Yeah,
it is so good. It talks about how our head is so full of our past, and you gotta release it. It's about surrendering. And
I love it.
The 4 Agreements companion book, because 4 Agreements are just
it's the best. It's the best. I've read it. I'm reading it right now for like a 7th time. I have a book for you. Smart Brevity. You'll love it.
Smart Brevity. Love it. I will.
It's about more and less. It's about the guys who started Politico. You'll love it. Best piece of wisdom you've ever received.
Best piece of wisdom. Don't ever give up.
Finish this sentence. One thing everybody can do to tap into their intrinsic inner knowing is
always keep your word.
I love it. Think community. I love this podcast. As a business coach, I work with people all over the globe who are successful and stuck. I get to have this podcast to help me with that mission. Kelly, it's always a pleasure, connecting with you and having you on the show.
Let me give you one quick plug, because I've known you for years. Working with you has always been a pleasure. Your mindset is second to none. And if anybody is a shameless plug for you, is anybody works with you, they're going to succeed and they're going to do better. And I know that for a fact, because you have inspired me from the day that I met you. We've made tons of money together. I love you and your family dearly. And you are truly an inspiration and just a good person.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thanks so much. I just want to leave everybody with one thing that you said that I thought was very powerful, which is every day you're making invisible progress. Every day you're making invisible progress. So, you can plant a seed, but you can't scream at it to grow. And you've got to do what you got to do every single day. It requires a lot of grit, a lot of consistency, and a lot of reaching out to people to ask for help as well. And Kelly, I appreciate your friendship, and I'm always inspired by you as well. I love the work you're doing. I love the book and the podcast, the interviews. Everything you're doing is phenomenal. And I think it takes a lot to put yourself out there like you are, and so I'm appreciative of that. Think community. If you want to connect with Kelly, tell them how to connect with you.
Just go to harderthanlife.com, and keep in mind that kill everybody with kindness. We talked about that and what's going on in the world. I don't want to get into it, but kill everybody with kindness, and just be awesome and kind, and understand that everybody's going through something, and just love everybody.
Yeah. Amen. All right. Thanks, brother. A pleasure. And you can reach me, everybody, at jondwoskin.com. And just remember, think big, think clearly, and think business. All right.
Love it.
Thanks, everybody. Kelly, great seeing you. Appreciate it.